Here is a Seeburg 3W1 wall box. I bought this because I just got a Seeburg 100A and I want a wall box with it. Really no purpose, just for the fact that I want it, because I think where I'm going to install it, it's going to be 10 feet away, so you know, you can either play it off of this or you can go 10 feet to the jukebox. Really, like I said, no purpose, just the fact that I want one. Anyway, if you look, I got old titles on here. This thing, I believe these are actually title strips from that era. I don't think these were just like put on because these are people's favorite songs. You know, it's an odd combination of songs, and that Elvis one I think came out in '61, so I'm thinking that this thing hasn't been run in ages. So, not knowing anything about it, I have to take it apart. So I took the title strips off. They just kind of fall into here, and then you have the top piece. But the title strips attached to, they don't attach, but they push against right here, this contact, and that will light up the lights. Let's see those lights there. But anyway, I'm not sure if this is any good or not, so I started messing around with it, and what I did find so far, let's see, from gathering information on the net and that, there's a cam. Where's that cam? Well, alright, hold on a second. You can't really see it here. I'll just point it out. There's a cam over here, and over here you can see if you had to get pictures off the net or buy a book, it shows you the different positions. So right now it's in the position where I should be able to, you know, make a selection. Okay. Otherwise, you push these in and it doesn't do anything. So this is where I want to be right now. And then what I did is let's try to get this guy out of here. There we go. What I did was hook up. I just got me a transformer, and I just hooked it up and plugged it in, and I found that nothing was happening. This motor was not spinning, the gears were not spinning, this was not spinning, and the thing that gives the pulses was not spinning. Stepper, it looks like. So anyway, I played around with it a little bit, and I was able to just kind of move this around while I gave it power, and it started to move a little bit. Then it would stop, then it would start. So it's somewhat free. I mean, I can turn it, where before it was pretty stiff. It is still a little stiff, but I'm gonna spray it maybe, you know, both sides. And there's gearing here. I don't know if there's any gears in this motor box because all the gears are outside. But I might just take this off and crack it open just to see. I'm not sure if it comes apart, but there is a seam in the center there. So anyway, I might do that. So let's see if I can set this camera up and try to film this sluggish motor. Alright, let me flip my switch on here, give it power. Okay, now I'm going to press selection. See how it's moving a little bit, kind of spin and stop and spin and stop. It's not very consistent. It's actually a little better than it used to be. The cam's turning around. It should get to this position here with stop. There we go. But as you see, definitely has some troubles. So let's try it again. Let me just make, I don't know how many coins I had on that, so let's just, alright, it's coin switch here. You can see my fingers in the way right there. I just pushed on. I don't know which one's which. Okay, now it's not letting me select. So I imagine the cam is not fully in the right position here. So what happened was I got near the point where it, I don't know what positions it was, but the cam has to fall into this one position, and it wasn't doing that. So now I can push the button. If I go down here, so I can push this button to go here. I'll push this one, and you'll see it's starting to spin again. I wish I could show the cam better when I shine light on it. You can't see crap. I could see it looking at it, but the camera doesn't seem to pick it up well. Right now it's getting near that point. Okay, it stops right before. I just go right to there, and I don't know if that's just a normal stop point. It stops like right before the cam drops into those grooves. I don't know if that's normal or if it had to go that extra bit that I just put it in right now. Not sure. Let me try one more time. It's gonna probably stop in the same position. Then I'll try to play another selection. Of course, I don't know if if I have a 5-cent coin made, 10 or 6 for a quarter. Okay, right there it stops. So let's see if it take another selection. It's not taking anything. Okay. So I don't know. Does that mean I'm out of credits? Let's try getting a credit. Let's do that. All right, whatever this first one is. We added a credit. Let's see, it's the first one's not going. All right, the bottom we'll take. The first one's not going. And I see on the cam it stopped right before that point. But again, let me get over here. Again, I don't know if that's normal or not. So let me just. Oops, it wants to go up. In the wrong position. There we go. Okay, now try again. Now let's check C. We'll do 7. So anyway, this thing is definitely not moving smooth, and I'm not even sure if it's stopping in the right position. So, I mean, it's always stopping that point. I'm not sure. Apparently that must be normal, because whenever it gets to this point it knocks it out, but if it goes a little further then you can make a selection. So again, I don't even know if I'm on the right coin switch. Maybe I'm just putting a nickel so you get one play. Well, what the heck, let's just go in the middle. It's either a dime or probably a dime. Let's see if we get 2 plays. Same thing, it won't do nothing. And this is making up here. Not sure. I gotta get that cam down. Alright, let's go. Is that the wrong direction? No, I was right, wasn't it? Let's see. There you go. And that's where it stops, where I can make a selection. So anyway, as you can tell, I have no idea what's going on. That's alright, it's still early in the project, and like I said, I've never seen one of these before, so we'll just have to figure it out. Okay, I put the motor back together, and it is just a motor. Only thing I saw in there was a rotor. I don't want to take it all the way apart, because with these wires it's pretty tight. But anyway, there was nothing in there that I could do to make this thing run better, except I was able to get the bushings or bearing, whatever you want to call it. I got those oiled, and I lubed the gears, and I took the this one piece off here. Let's see, is that, yeah, that's a piece there, and mechanically made it a little smoother, but there really wasn't that much. But anyway, let's just go through it here and give it a credit. I'll push the button here, I'll go to this one, and let's see. So you can see it's working a lot smoother now. So I think that part is fixed. So not sure what's going on with these switches. I have to check those out and just check the positions. I read that they're silver plated and you're not supposed to use anything I usually use, like you know, like a Scotch-Brite type thing. But I just clean it with acetone. Just because carbon touch is not allowed anymore, I guess. But anyway, I'm just going to go over it and clean it and put it together, and then I'll go through the jukebox section and hopefully I get this thing to work. Okay, adjusted the latch switch or latch bar setting switch for this machine here, and if you see right here is your cam, and right now it's in the credit position. This piece is fitting in right here, and you can look at the shadow here I got. Actually, they want this 1/64 of an inch and this 1/32. This looks a little large, at least in the shadow, but Anyway, when this moves, get it over here. And we get into this position here. This first switch closes. Okay, as you can see in the shadow. And then let me just kind of zip through this thing here as this turns. And you get in there. Right now it's in a pulsing position. When it gets to the rest position, you'll see the switch should change positions. It's a little faster, of course, when the motor's going. There you go. And that is the rest position. And then when it gets back to here, they should both be open. So anyway, that's the adjustment for one diagram called the motor switch, another one called it the latch bar setting switch. Either way, that one's how that one works, if that makes any sense. Next one I'll show you is this one over here. Let me just turn this off. Alright, this is a 3-circuit switch adjustment. Basically what they want is that switch. It'll be easier if I just show you in the book here. Okay, all of them are closed right now, and then as it starts turning, once it gets to let's see if I'm gonna have to kind of read this here. Well, anyway, it gets to this, after this main bar, it's like a grounding bar. You get to this contact here, and the one will start beginning to open. And then when you get to the next one, it should be open 64th minimum, it says. And anyway, I got it adjusted to where I spin it. That's what's happening. So, good luck. Next, what I'm doing is I want to clean up down here. Is your push buttons, and these are kind of moldy. You can see they're not moldy, but it's full of gunk. So I'm trying to clean them up a little. I got a little goo going, and then maybe I'll put some Novus on there, polish it up. Let's see what else. Another thing I noticed on this particular unit, so I cleaned that up a little bit. So I believe this is your nickel, and this is your dime, and this is my quarter. Okay, so when you hit the coin switch, a solenoid comes out and opens a contact. Let's see, I'll show you one of these contacts. This is a snap acting, snapped contact. Okay, so anyway, there's a little piece that will reset this. Give me 1 second, let me get the book. You can see that it says reset bracket. Alright, and there's your snap acting switch, and here are your solenoids. Okay, so here, just in case you don't have this, you can look at that. Alright, let me turn this off again. Alright, so how this works is you put a coin in, and either your 5 cent, your 10 cent, or your 25 cent solenoid is gonna activate one of those switches. Okay, it's gonna basically put it on. So when I seen where I bent it or it snapped, that was on. If you didn't have that reset bracket, or if you want, you take your reset bracket off. It's up inside here. If you take it off, this thing would just be unlimited credits. So basically, that's how you get on free play. That's the easy way to do it. You don't have to wire up a switch and a little push button and all that. You could just take that off. Only problem is I think this light might be energized all the time. I'm not sure. Like I said, I never had one of these, so I'm just kind of winging it here a little bit. But anyway, once that first switch is, just say the nickel is on, this is going to rotate. There's 6 positions here, so it's going to rotate. So this one opens, or is on, we'll say. It rotates and closes it, and now you lost all your credits, and you push your buttons, nothing happens. If you did the dime, you get 2. Basically, I'll just say it's not pulses, but we'll just say pulses. So you get 2. You go 1, 2, and then it resets, and now you got nothing. Mine is 6 for a quarter, so I should get 6. And I kept getting 3, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And then I should have just seen someone wrote a 3 here. But what they do is they got it here in this position. This is for 3 credits, which don't make sense. If I'm getting 2 for a dime, why am I going to get 3 for a quarter, right? So I don't know what they did, why they did that. But anyway, you would get you know, rotate 1 time, 2 times, and like 3 times and reset, and then you have no credits. So since mine is 6 for a quarter, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this off. I believe if I pull this plate out, I should be able to take this solenoid out and move it over here. See over there? And that would be the 6th position. So then I would get 6, and then it'll reset. I could just take that bar off and just keep it free play that, but I like to make it the way it's supposed to work. So anyway, what I'm doing next, I'm going to take this off and see if I can take this out and how it moves. Not sure yet. You know, it's just winging it as I go. Alright, I took that plate off and I pulled the solenoid out. As you can see, it will be able to be moved. I just want to check the wiring to make sure that when I move it I don't snap any wires. I'm going to put it into this. There's a post right over here. Let me see if I get a little light on there. You can see it. I can see it at least. Right there. Yeah. So hopefully I can do this without destroying it, but it looks like it's pretty easy. Just want to show a close-up. Right here is the piece that resets everything, so if you take that out, it should work on free play. There's nothing will reset it, so it should work. I had to take this solenoid here. It was over on this side, right over here, actually right here, and that was basically 3 plays for a quarter, because it's my quarter solenoid. Now it's at 6 plays because it has to go around all 6 revolutions before it hits here and resets. This is your nickel. You can see when it goes, it resets right away. The dime, it goes 2 places and resets. Alright, the last thing I did was I took off a bunch of grime on top of these buttons. I had to use a glue gun to get it off, and then I used some Novus to you know, polish it a little bit. That's about as good as I'm going to get on here. You got some nicks and a few things can't get off, but it looks good enough for me. And then I took this area here and I cleaned all this with like a contact cleaner. Here, let me just push a button. Let's try this one here. Oops, too far away. There you go. And you can see the contact, and there's silver now, where before it was just gummed up black, and I don't know if it was going to make contact or not. It was like full of old oil or something. And then I changed the bulbs, and we did the switches earlier. So the next thing I got to do is get the coin rejector on here and put this top back on, and I think we'll be good to go. That's where you want it. So what I had to do to get the dimes to work, because the quarter and nickel worked but the dimes wasn't working, was basically, let's see, not sure what this is. If anyone knows what this is, let me know. I see these broken off a lot on some bent. I have no idea. It kind of looks like one of those things that used to drink water and just bob its head back and forth. Right? Cool, huh? Alright. Anyway, you put a dime in. Here's my finger. Put a dime in. It goes through this path, goes through the magnets, comes down through here, and comes out here as we're supposed to go. It was getting rejected every time, and what it was this thing here was jacked up so it wouldn't pass through. And then after I took that apart, cleaned it, got it all working there, this part, it wouldn't make it past here. I was thinking it was too tight here, but it wasn't. What it was is this anvil looking piece right here. This looks like a pennant triangle, I guess. That was moved up so the dime wouldn't go through. So I just loosened that, put that there, and I think I'll put a screw in here just so it don't move. So anyway, then I got the path to go, and then they mess with these so it would always kick out this way. At least that's my guess. Like I said, I'm not an expert on these things, but I did play around with it. I moved this different ways, and someone who knows these are probably like, oh, what an idiot, that's in the wrong position. But you know what? Who cares? It works. So when I put it in, it works. Nickels work, quarters work, and the dime works. The only problem now is on my switches. This is the dime. Yeah, this is a dime, this is the nickel, and this is the quarter. On the coin mech, what's going to fall here is going to be the nickel. This is the dime, and this is a quarter. So at least they got it in the right order, you know, from lowest to highest. So if I put a dime in now, it's going to register as a nickel because it's going to be 1 credit. And if I put a nickel in, it's going to come down and register as a dime, or it's going to give me 2 credits, and the quarter will be the quarter. So not only that I have to change. This guy was up here for 3 credits, so now luckily I don't have to change him because I have to take this off because with this bracket it's hard to get it. So what I'm going to do now is just reverse these two. So I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to just take this solenoid, put it over here, and this solenoid over here. That would be the easiest way, because I already know that this one gets energized by that one by the Nichols, what I thought was a nickel switch, but it's actually the dime switch. So I'm going to put that in the dime position, and then I'm going to reverse this over there. Everything will be cool after that. So far so good. Everything's working. I think it's time to go get a beer, and I'll do the rest of this tomorrow. Alright, I changed the solenoids. I know I said I was going to get a beer. I got one anyway, but I changed the solenoids first. Hooked it back up. Now we're going to try it out and see if I deserve a sip of this beer. Alright, here we go. Power it up. First I'll try nickel. Alright, so alright, just one play. Nothing else. See if the dime works. That's 2. Last, the quarter. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As you see, light went off. Can't make no selections, but I'm happy about that. It's all done. I was able to get it to work, so hey, here's to me, and whoever else can use this video to help fix their stuff. So basically it was gummed up a lot. Contacts here are all just gummed up with oil. It's crappy looking. Cleaned that. Like I said, I got these working. They were pretty stiff. This was jazzed up where it wouldn't turn. I had to move it, and I think when I was filming it, it's already kind of broken in. At first it wasn't doing nothing. Of course the lights weren't working. I think I had one light over here. Maybe that, I'm not sure. But anyway, all the solenoids were in all the wrong spots, and I had to redo the coin mech there, or not the mech, the rejector. So I think I am finished with this. I just got to put on those sleeves, the selectors, whatever you want to call them, and clean that. I got to clean a couple of those contacts. I already adjusted them, but I'll probably look at them one more time and just see, make sure the lights work on that. One area I'll polish up the menus, and that should be it. Then I'll go to the jukebox and work on that, and next time you see this thing, it'll be together and it'll be working. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope it helps someone. I just want to show those 2 springs on top of the shaft of the selector pages, for lack of a better word. We'll just call them selector pages. Well, they're broken, and I would assume that they have something to do with keeping these from flopping around. So I have to look and see if I can find those springs. Otherwise, everything's finished. Polish that piece up. All I got left is the front piece in the glass to polish and put that on, and then I'll have to wire it, but it turned out pretty nice. I'm actually pretty happy with the way it turned out. Just to show you, this is how I had it wired, just with the transformer. I had, let me just look down here, what was the red went to the green, and the black was the orange, and the orange or the black is basically common. They had here, let me just show you what they have. I found this on the internet. This is very helpful. So you can see that they use blue, orange, and green, and I'm using white, black, and red. You also need to buy a plug for the jukebox side, and just as long as you make sure that you follow that diagram, where 3 I have the white goes to the blue over on the box here, and then black would be orange and the red would be green. It would be fine, but this was very helpful when I found this. I didn't have to sit there and try to figure it out. But this I got off of eBay. They have like a well, let me show you real quick. To get that apart, they have like one of the spiral nails in there, so you got to pull that out first before you can separate this. So then after I solder my 3 wires on there, I'm going to hook it up to here, close it up, and maybe I'll show it working when it's all complete and hanging off the wall. One problem I was running into was I was able to push the buttons over on this side, and as I got over here, it was really hard to push them. So what you have to do is you have to move these threads in here. It's a nut, but the nut doesn't move. It's locked in here. So you have to take out the bulb, just kind of get out of the way. And what I did was, because these were really hard, and it was like really, like that. So anyway, I turned them in. Top when I went in 1 full turn, bottom when I went 3/4. I'm sure 3/4 would be just fine, but as long as it does the next of the following things I'll show you, it's fine. So right now it's pushing really easy, and I'm in the credit position. So if you see the cam, it's too hard to really show it over here. Let's see if I can get it. You can see it's in there. So that's a credit position. So in that position, it should, lock in like that. So what you want to do next is make sure that, let me advance this. It's in the pulse. It'll be the pulse position now when it's moving, and you want to make sure that it's locked. Okay, then you keep going, keep advancing. Let me just get over here. You can see when it. Oh, that's too far. Let me just leave it in like that. Then I can know when I get there when these pop out, basically. And then that one. Okay, and that's the rest position here. The bottom one's starting to lock up barely, so I'm going to adjust that a little more. Ran into a little problem when I put this all together. I put the cover on with the glass, and I was turning the pages, and all the pages moved really well except for the very first one on when you're looking at the left side. It was dragging on the bottom, and if the bottom part is a metal plate with the instructions on it, so you don't want it dragging. It's going to rip it apart. So I don't know why the one was dragging and the rest isn't, but I did notice that there was a gap here. And it's like a 1/16 of an inch. That's like 5/16 spacer, and I was able to, let me just back this out again. I was able to find some spacers online, and anyway, I bought a 3/8, and that fills up that gap perfectly. So that would keep this from sagging down. Don't know why the one page would, the other ones wouldn't. It's not like it was, I don't think it's the last page, but anyway, another thing I noticed was you have a large spacer like right over here. Then you have a spacer in between these pages on that part of the hinge. This part of the hinge you don't have a spacer. Why? I don't know. And then you had the smaller spacer down here, which again I just got a larger one. So I might just put this piece in here because I don't think it's going to hurt anything. And just what the heck, if it has one here, should have one here, I think. I looked on the web and none of them have them here, and in the book none of them have them here, so I don't know if they're just getting cheap and thought we could save a spacer, or maybe there's a reason. So anyway, I'll play with it. I'll put it in there. If I find an obvious reason why it doesn't work, then I'll take it out. Otherwise, I'm just going to add it. Another thing I did was order some springs, but if you look at the springs that are here, I'm assuming these are original. These are pretty small in comparison to these here that hold on, let's back it out. Here, hold on a second, let me just. You can see the original springs in the bottom here and the replacement on top. Well, the original ones came with an 1/8 inch spacer in between, and you got a little play in there, but I think it keeps the springs from cocking or whatever. But if you take that and you put it in the replacement spring, I mean, it's ridiculously it's hard to do this. Hold on a second. I'm trying to film and show some. It's ridiculously small. So what I did was I got the next one that would be proportional for that, which is a 3/16 spacer, and I put those in. And then what I did was I think it's 832 washers, and I would put that on top of that. So basically the bottom spring is the one that looks like that. Now let me just put this washer on here. And then I take the other spring, where it is, there it is. I put that on there. And that's basically what I did. And I had another one on top here, of course, and then another one on top of that, because that rod will go through here. And anyway, when it was all said and done, there was just a little bit of excess. This is actually a larger spacer. I bought a different size. I think there's a half. I use a 3/8, and I think there's about a 1/16 of an inch too much, but it works out well. But anyway, this is just to demonstrate how I did it here. You can see the springs right over here. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. So I got them set. And basically what it does is basically you turn the page, and when you release it, it goes back. So you turn both pages, it goes back. See with this one, turn both pages, then looking at it, it goes back. Or you can just do the one, it's going to go back. I had a problem with this bottom section here. It was rubbing, so when I was moving this, it was scratching along the bottom. So what I did was I added that extra spacer. Now that was an 1/8 inch spacer, and it had like a 16th gap on the bottom, so for some reason this page was sagging down, and I don't want it to rub on there and take off the instructions, so I put on a 3/8 spacer, and that took care of that problem. So this thing's all done now. All I gotta do is test it. Well, they just cleaned the selection receivers switches here, relays. Just really a burnishing tool and some contact cleaner. Now I have to, well, this needs to be cleaned. You can see this one looks like it got cooked a little bit. But I have to go by this book here, and it's telling me, you know, like 1/32 gap in like a 3/64 gap, which if you think about it, 3/60 of course is really like 1.5 30 seconds, right? You know, it's really that matter. That does it really matter that much? I don't know. I guess so. Anyway, I don't have a ruler, so we're gonna have to eyeball it. Okay, I took this one off, and I had the same thing. It just was really oxidized, I guess, with that black. It's kind of like a hard. I don't know. It's like a hard surface on there. I don't know if it's oxidation or what. It was kind of like if something got fried, but I guess it must be from the arcing. But as you can see, the silver is still on there. So I don't know. Maybe that's just something silver does. I don't know. It was very hard to get off. Like I said, I used just some contact cleaner like Deoxit, and then I did after I cleaned it, there was just a little bit of stuff left. You really shouldn't use anything, but this is like a very fine Scotch-Brite, and I just used that to get off the black charred stuff that wasn't coming off, and then I polished it with some flits there, and like I said, it turned out nice. Now I got to put it back on. And then these things have a little, where is it? There it is. These things have a little play when you put it on. It can move this way or whatever. So you just want to make sure that all the contacts line up nice and square when you put it back on. One thing I wanted to point out is that center terminal where you see it looks like a diamond. There's one terminal in the middle. that is this wire here, and that's your positive. So this is your positive terminal, and then the outer ones are negatives. This one had a free spot, so I just hooked it up from here to here. I just thought that would be the easiest. One person told me to follow this out, which it goes right here to this resistor. If you look on the schematic, you see it goes from the resistor to there. So he said to put it on here and then attach it to one of these I don't know if they're ground wires or what would you say, negative wires, one of these guys. But when I traced them out, it went all the way to like up here, and I'm like, you know, this would just be easier. So hopefully this works. Like I said, I'm definitely not an expert on any of this stuff. I'm just kind of winging it, trying to learn as I go. Hopefully I don't fry anything, and it'd be really cool if it worked. I guess I have to do a little more internet searches and more reading. Okay, ran into a little problem here. This is the book calls it the play control relay, and as you can see, let's see, pull out, maybe it'll focus better. You can see that contact on the top, like welded itself to the bottom. Alright, you can see over here, you can see where a piece was missing. This is the piece that ended up sticking on here. If I pull this back, you can see it's about the best I can do. I got it pretty smooth. It's a little flat, but it's about all I could do on that one. And then this one here, you can see that one piece up on top of my finger that I had to flatten out. And you can see it's pitted a little bit, but I'm afraid if I go any more, pretty much be at the end of this. So right now it's making pretty good, so I want to at least try this thing out and see if it works. Then I could see about finding some contacts. I got contacts for other games, but like I said, these, I know they were silver plate. I don't know if it's silver or not here, but anyway, I'll do a little more research and see if I need special contacts. So right now we're just going to leave it just as it is. Yeah, I was able to pull it off from the bottom, you know, because it went up here. Okay, I finished changing the caps that I was going to change. I changed that 300, that's one in the middle there. I changed, I think they're 0.05, whatever they are. They were easy to do at least, so I did those. I went through this, I lined everything up according to the book, I cleaned everything. Let's see, only one I didn't change was this one here. I know it goes to the 5 of one of the pins. I'm not sure what tube it is. And then it goes to the eject, but it's not in my schematic, at least wired that way. So I decided to leave it because I'm not sure what the heck it is. This was already changed. I checked that, that was good. These I didn't check. They were probably put in the same time. This was from like 2011, so I was only like 5 years old. So anyway, I'm pretty excited because I got it in. And what I did was I plugged it in. And as you can see, yep, we got power. So let's see if this thing's actually going to work. Let's see, I guess we could actually, let's be a little more dramatic about it. Why not? Since I'm here. What I got? I think I got a dime. Okay, hey, check this out. Let's try this. What the heck? It's a Nichols Coin-O-Matic cashier change machine from like the 40s, so, or 30s. There we go. Okay, now it's a moment of truth. Alright, well at least that took a credit. Let's go to the highest value, be K10. Let me see what's over here. So far nothing exploded, that's good. I don't see no smoke. See if it's going to play it. This is so cool. Nice. So I guess it works. At least K10 works. And I can check the other stuff out later. This is really cool. Success. Alright, I'm just going to show you the function of the wall box. You got the coin, put the coin in, takes the credit, your lights come on. I'm going to press the button. Like if I hit this, oops, wrong one. Just hit that one, no problem. Once I have a button here and I push this, it's going to go. So we're just going to hit J and 10 and see what happens over here. Alright, let's just do that again. Now you can see this side. It's going to be the same thing. Here's J. And here's 10. There it goes. Then if I can, I don't know how I'm going to film this and do that. I have to pause it for a second here. Just push the number 10. Thank you. And that's what's happening on this end.